Hello guys, this is Bismarck and welcome back to another session on RS operators. Today we are coming to have a closer look at distinct operators and distinct until change operators, and we see the difference between the distinct and the distinct until change operators. One will ask, what is distinct operator? Okay, so distinct operator is an operator in Rxjava that suppresses duplicates of observable items in a stream. And this is what I mean. We could see this example. This is nothing but an array of integers. And you could see that we have duplicates in this array. We have 1, 2, and 3 can be found here. We have 3, like a multiple occurrence of 3 and 4 and so forth. And for example, in a real life scenario, we have this array of items, and all that you want from this item is that you want the uniqueness. You don't want the duplicate. And how could you have a function, a very simple one, that will give you the unique ones without duplicating? And that's all that we are coming to have a look at today in this session. Okay, so as I say, so now let's go to Rxjava operators in the distinct the distinct operator. You could see that when you say distinct, it suppresses the duplicate items emitted by an observable. You could see that we have 1 here, 2, 2, 1, and 3. But in the emitted items, you could have only 1 out of the, it occurred twice here, but it emitted just 1 of it, and 2 came once, and finally 3. So this thing tells us that it actually suppresses the duplicates. It suppresses the duplicate. So let's go into our example and let's try to know what this is all about. Okay, so let's write our function that will give us a uniqueness of these items. So we use observable dot. Guys, if we try to in this, as I said, the distinct helps you in getting a uniqueness during the emission. So if you try to, for instance, we are seeing this is an array, but if you try to use from array operator and you pass this, at the end you are going to realize that the observable, the item that is being emitted is the whole item. Okay, you are going to get the whole item. You are going to get the whole item, and the whole item is the whole array. So we are not going to get what we want to achieve. This is what I mean. If you come here, you will see that this is giving an observable of the array. So at the end, should we print this out, we are going to get the same array without achieving the purpose, without achieving what we want to have in here. Okay, and this is going to even print the object of the array. Let's see what will happen. Okay, bam, as I said, so it printed the actual object. This is the actual object represented, but we don't want in this way. We want to have, though it is in an array form, but then we want to have an emission of every item in an array. So a workaround on this is using a range operator. Then you start from 0 to the array dot size or length. Then after that, this will loop from 0. It will loop through the indices of this array, and after that we have to map it using a map operator. Then we map this indices to the actual items in its position. We use integer, then we return an integer. Okay, so we return an integer, right? right? So what we are going to map is, in here we have array and the integer. Actually, this is the indices it is giving to us. So now we are sure of that this item is an array though, but we are mapping it, we are starting from it, we are looping through the indices. So at the end we are going to get the individual items in the array. So it's not going to be like a whole bundle given to us. It's going to make a mate one after the other. So now we can use our distinct operator, right? Fine. So here we are going to get, so let's try to print this out and see what you are going to get out of this. So this is a item. Let me try to use out dot format. Okay. Okay. Right. So then here's will be the v. Okay, so we could convert this to string. So string dot value of v. Okay. So let's print this out and let's see at the end. Now we have applied the distinct, and this is a distinct value. We have applied it. So at the end we are going to get, let's try to collect our subscription in the form of disposable. Okay, so now this is our distinct operator applied to it. So let's run this and let's see what we get. Simple. Now all the duplicates that is occurring in this array are not occurring anymore. We could see that we have the uniqueness, everything in here. Okay, so this one example of it. For example, what if your data is not a primitive data? Okay, it's just an object, and how will you ensure that they are unique? So this is what we can go by, how we can go by it. So let's try to create an inner class here, static class, for example. So static class, and you could name it scores. In our scores we have the name of the player. Then we could have the actual score. Okay, so in this we can get the constructor, and also fine. So this is an object. So let's try to create a unique object. So we have int of array scores is equal to, so we have maybe the score of this player, and the name is, let's say, Ernest, and Ernest had a score of 100%. We could have another player. Let's try to copy this and format it very well so that to be easy to read. Okay, so we have this. We have Felix. Let's say 90. No, 99. 90. Okay. 90. 50. 90. 80. Okay, so let's have duplicates. Okay, so we want to just get a unique player, the score of a unique player in this array. So that's the target. Okay, so we have this and it's all fine and dandy. Fine. So how do we ensure that we are going to get the unique scores of these items? Fine, we could get a work around this using our normal ways to get the unique items. Probably it might be complex, but we could also harness on a or try to employ the use of distinct operator to have the unique items in here. Okay, so how do we get it? So starting from, let's use our range as we have been using. Then in our distinct function, okay, as we are mapping this, let's try to map here. So we are going to map this, so the integer, and return an integer. So here is going to give us, let's use okay, and this will be scores. Fine, so we are good to go. So probably you can delete this. We are good to go now. So how do we get the unique score? Because this is an object, as we all can see. So the distinct operator also gives us like the flexibility for you to declare your function on how you want it to see a duplicate, or to find the uniqueness in an object. Okay, so what we can do is we can use our function that it gives us score. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so let's try to use Boolean and see. Let's try to use, okay, so let's try to, so what we are going to do here is that we are going to return the particular property where you want the function to determine the uniqueness of this item. So we use scores, and we should return a string since the name part is a string. Okay, so we return the scores dot get name. So what is this going to give us? An object. So should we print this out? What are we going to get? So if you print this out, I think we are going to get an object, right? Because yes, we are getting an object. We are getting an object. So we don't want an object. So because this is an object and we are printing the string form of it. So let's create our toString item in here. Okay. And let's run this one more time. Okay. Let's try to, I think it's working now. So let's try to use, okay, so now I think we can see this one is better. So let's see if you are comparing with our the arrays that we have, the items in the array, we could see that Ernest occurred twice, earning occurred twice, but at the end the result was able to give us the Ernest, Felix, Bismarck, and I think these are unique items. Okay, so this is an example of how we can use distinct operator in Rxjava. Then there's another part of it which is called distinct until change operator. So with this same example, let's try to compare this example to understand how the distinct until operator works. So with this same example, let's try and see how distinct operator works in here. Distinct until change operator. Okay, so what distinct until change operator does is that, fine, we have this and items. For example, these are our emitting items, and what we want to prevent is that let's try to use, I think, fine, let's use this example. I wanted us to use the integer format so that it could be clearer to us, but I think this example is okay. So what is going to happen is, with distinct until change operator, we have Ernest here, we have Felix here, Bismarck, Annie, and distinct until change operator try to prevent duplicate of consecutive items. So the key is, it tries to prevent duplicate of consecutive items. And what I mean by consecutive items is that, let's arrange this. We have something like we have Ernest here and Ernest here. When we run this with distinct until change operator, we are going to get the same array, and I will explain why. Let's run it and see. Sorry, we have to, okay, I'm still running the distinct until change distinct operator. Okay, so let's run this and see. Okay, bam, here this is what we have. We are still having Ernest is twice, earning is twice still. Okay, and it seems as if it's not working, but it is working. So what the distinct until operator is going to work is, how it's working is that, anytime, now here the Ernest and Ernest is actually occurring twice because they are not consecutive. So it doesn't see it to be a duplicate. It doesn't see it to be a duplicate. But let's try to bring Ernest to be close to its counterpart. For example, like this. And this, it means Ernest and Ernest, these two data are consecutive. Okay, so it will print just one. So let's run this example and let's see. Okay, so you could see. So since Ernest and Ernest are consecutive, they are very consecutive, meaning the distinct until operator will work for this scenario. So it's going to print only just one of it, not all. And I think we could also achieve the same with, let's try to copy ending. Okay, to follow, and this is consecutive, right? So if you run this, ending will just print one. It will just emit only one of ending. And here we go. So that is actually the difference between the distinct operator and distinct until change operator in Rxjava. And guys, so this is what we wanted to have a look at today. And thank you for joining me. And if you haven't subscribed to this tutorial, please do and subscribe so that anytime I release a new video, you'll be able to get it in time. Thank you. Bye.